Well, what's happened in Singapore for the qualifying session? Let's find out. Stay and watch. It was brilliant, wasn't it? Well, Q1, big crash from Lance Stroll, wasn't it? He ended Q1 last. He was already last at that stage, and it was all on the line, wasn't it? A lot of the slower cars going really fast right at the end, but Lance Stroll probably saved a few blushing faces, wasn't there? Because there's a lot of drama at the end of section Q1 in the last sector with cars trying to find space. Big investigation going on with the stewards on that one. Whether there'll be any penalties, we'll yet to find out. Number of cars involved. Max Verstappen again going really slowly, but what that meant was Lance Stroll out last 20th start for him. I mean, it just keeps getting worse for him, doesn't it? At this moment in time, and then comes Zhou Guanzu, who's going to start in 19th place. Logan Sargent 18th. Oscar Piastri 17th. He got really unlucky, didn't he? He was just behind Lance Stroll, just about to cross the line when the red flag came out. He was on a better lap, would have made it through into Q2, but that red flag really cost him. Just the timing of that, unfortunately. And then Valtteri Bottas starting in 16th place. The Alfa Romeo really struggling here for this weekend. Not as good as we've seen before, but it was Yuki Tsunoda who was absolutely mega, wasn't he? He was first in that session, followed by Perez and Hülkenberg, the two Hasses, showing that they had pace early on. And then into the Q2 sessions, and it was very fiercely contested, this one, wasn't it? And a few shockers here, let's be honest. Max Verstappen is going to start in 11th place. The two Red Bulls are out in this session. It was absolutely unbelievable. The car was really struggling, wasn't it? Max was furious over the car. He was like, what is this? Like, what have we got here? Which is surprising at how bad that car's got over a weekend. They say the car is the same. There's not been any changes in terms of there was a new directive that came out without the flexi wings and the flexi floors being banned and taken off. They've said that their cars remain the same, so it shouldn't really affect them, but they are really struggling. I mean, nothing like we've seen before, and where they've struggled, they've still managed to get into at least into the Q3. But Max Verstappen knocked out there by brilliant Liam Lawson at that last lap, wasn't it, in that session. Pierre Gasly going to start 12th. Sergio Perez, again another shocker, wasn't he? Went into turn 1, got a bit of a slide on, spun it in turn 2 of his fast lap right at the end, and that was him out. P13 for the Red Bulls. His misery in qualifying continues. Alex Albon 14th. He had a lap time deleted at the very end, which is unfortunate for him. But I think he might not have made it out of Q2 anyway. That Williams not as fast here as we've seen in other circuits. This is very high downforce, so probably the opposite of what we expected from them in Monza, coming true here. And then Yuki Tsunoda 15th place. He got blocked off by Max Verstappen, didn't he, in the end in that section? Couldn't complete a lap, and Max Verstappen actually under investigation by the stewards on that one. It looks like Max probably get a penalty for that one. He was right in the middle of the racing line, and it really did cost Yuki Tsunoda dearly, didn't they? Because that car has actually done really well in quick round here this weekend. It was Sainz, Russell and Alonso in the top 3 positions in that session. Just dominated by the Red Bulls going out, which is going to throw the race wide open for tomorrow and into Q3. We had a real battle here, didn't we? Who was going to be on pole? Carlos Sainz is on pole position. Absolutely brilliant weekend. He's carried on his form from Monza here. He was fastest in practice 2 and 3, and he was brilliant all qualifying, wasn't he? Right up the top. Brilliant lap. That final sector is really what got him pole position, because there was a number of drivers going fast in that one. And then comes George Russell, that splits the 2 Ferraris. What a lap from him, because actually the Mercedes did look the slowest of sort of the 2 or 3 cars, didn't they, with the Astons. well, they're probably just faster than the Aston Martin, but really close with the McLaren, and look slower than the Ferraris, to be fair. So Charles Leclerc, who will start in 3rd place, will be massively disappointed with that. But a brilliant lap from George Russell. Can he get it up into pole? 1st place at the start, with a good start tomorrow. Let's wait and see for that. That will be brilliant. Like I said, Charles Leclerc, 3rd place. He will be disappointed. He's been a bit slower than his teammate all weekend, but the points are tomorrow, and can he pull off a good race? You know, it could possibly be for Ferrari 1-2 here, the first of the season, potentially tomorrow. You know, their car has been quick, and they've been fasted most of the practice sessions, so I wouldn't bet against it, but it is their race tyre that drops off, which will really probably be the difference in the race there tomorrow. Lando Norris lines up in 4th place. He probably got the best out of that McLaren, but they're right in the hunt, aren't they? How they're going to get on in the race tomorrow, let's wait and find out. Lewis Hamilton, 5th place, beaten by his teammate. He's been slower than his teammate for most of that qualifying session, wasn't he? Just didn't quite hook it up. I'm not sure what's gone on there, because Singapore is a track which he's been absolutely brilliant at. He probably pulled off one of the best qualifying laps ever, hasn't he, when he got that pole a few years back. But yeah, a bit of head scratching going on with his car on his side of the garage. And then comes Kevin Magnussen, P6. Yes, the 2 Hasses were the big surprise in Q3, both into the Q3 session. And actually, Magnussen beats his teammate Nico Hülkenberg in qualifying. A fantastic performance from them. Can they hold off in the race? That'll be the key question, and get some points, the pair of them. But brilliant from K-Mag, finally an upturn in performance, and the K-Mag we've seen from last season has returned. Fernando Alonso in 7th place. He'd be a little disappointed, wouldn't he? Because it looked like he might have been in the hunt, not for possibly for pole, but at least closer to the front 2 rows of the grid. But he's starting in 7th place tomorrow. I kind of expected a little more from that Aston Martin team, to be honest with you, and they just didn't quite have the pace, did they? And then comes Ocon. He starts in 8th place for Alpine. A decent performance from him. Beats his teammate crucially, and hopefully they'll be able to beat a couple of the Haas, well, at least one of the Haas drivers ahead of him tomorrow, and I'm sure he'll be in a fight with Alonso, isn't it? His old teammate, lining up together, aren't they, on the grid? That'd be brilliant to see how them two get off the line tomorrow. Nico Hülkenberg starting in 9th place. Again, what a qualifying session for the Haas team. Brilliant to see them both in the top 10. Their car going really well here in qualifying. Again, it's just all about the race for them tomorrow. Rumours of a big upgrade for them coming up in Austin to help them with their tyre deck. They could really do with that here, couldn't they, to try and get through that race tomorrow. And then a shout out to Liam Lawson, P10. Fantastic performance from him. He's come in and done a really good job, hasn't he, as a rookie. In 3 very different circuits, and here was probably one of the ones where you kind of expected him to struggle a little bit more. He's never raced here, first time in Singapore. It's a really tough track on the drivers. Let's see how he gets on tomorrow. No point getting too hyped up about it, but he's starting off on the right foot, and if he can bring home a point tomorrow, that'll be absolutely phenomenal. And they've got a chance actually, because he's got the 2 Hasses in front of him who struggle on tyres. So if he can manage to make that last, he might be in with a top 10. He's got the 2 Red Bulls behind him. I'm sure they'll charge past him in the race, but you never know. It's a tight, twisty track. If he can block and defend well, you know, he might be able to keep some of them behind. I don't think that'll happen for too long. The Red Bull is really struggling though, but I expect both of them to pass him. But if he can get past the 2 Hasses and let the 2 Red Bulls pass, you know, potentially keep position, that is a point on the cards and the table for him tomorrow. And that'll be an absolutely mega start to his career, isn't it? Whether that continues in Japan is yet to be seen with Danny Rick, but we've got a fantastic race coming tomorrow. Could we finally see a Red Bull not winning a Grand Prix this season? It looks like it's potentially on the cards tomorrow. I can't wait to watch and see that happen. Watch out for the race review tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always, and I'll see you for tomorrow's race review.